Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AfterShock EpiCenter live stream. I'm your host and the communication specialist here at AfterShock Comics, RuthAnn Thompson. I see we have a lot of our awesome people already in the chat. Hello, Stapled Spine Horror Zine on YouTube, and both Nathan Duncan and Edward Huey, welcome on Facebook. Good to see you all. We have a very fun week for our new comic book day on Wednesday, August 10th. We have a 1, 2, 3, and a trade paperback ready for you. Yes, hello, Nathan. Yeah, I always love seeing my name in all caps with exclamation points. I love it. So, Stapled Spine Zine, or AKA Jack, our awesome ambassador in Portland, Oregon, already hinted towards the new #1 that is coming out for tomorrow's new comic book day, Samurai Doggy issue 1. So this comes from the creative team from Brazil of writer Chris Tex and illustrator Santos. So you might have recognized Santos' work also from Land of the Living Gods, as well as Blackout, which he actually worked with Chris Tex on. So we are very excited for this title. We've been stoked ever since we did the announcement, and we had a great interview with Sci-Fi Epic was first announced. And Tex described the book as a throwback to 80s and 90s manga and anime, specifically name dropping several titles like Akira director, Dragon Ball Z creator, and Cowboy Bebop directors, all as inspirations for this title. And as most of you know, I'm a huge anime fan, so I've been very stoked for this title. And Nathan Duncan says, this old dog is looking forward to it. Yes, very excited. Oh, and Staples Fanzine, yes. My new do today is due to the fact I just didn't want to flat iron my bangs. So no bangs, lots of forehead for you all today. So let's get into talk about Samurai Doggy from writer Chris Tex and artist Santos. We had a wonderful conversation with Chris Tex a couple weeks ago, and now we are ready for the book to come out for tomorrow's new comic book day. So this is all focused on during the Fourth War of the Sun, a small dog named Doggy experienced an irreparable trauma. His mother was brutally murdered, and his 8 brothers, still puppies, were kidnapped by a mysterious man. To save them, Doggy fought bravely against the terrible killer, but all his efforts were in vain, and he was left for dead. What nobody imagined was that there would be a technological vulture, a literal vulture, who was scavenging and actually found him still alive and actually saved him and rescued the dog from death's sight. Now Doggy has become Samurai Doggy, and his only goal is to quench his thirst for revenge. Very excited for this. Oh, why, thank you, Nathan. He says he's a hairdresser and likes my hairdo. All right, sorry, back to the books. So we have issue 1 of that in stores for tomorrow's new comic book day. And now we have an issue 2 for you as well. There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd, issue 2. This comes from writer Ed Brisson, who we've had way too much fun with, and artist Gavin Gowdry. And now, after being robbed and beaten, 15-year-old Patrick is left penniless and desperate. To get what he needs to pay for his mom's care, he crossed lines he'd promised he'd never cross, hurting innocent people in the process. And to make matters worse, both the machete-wielding maniac Zeus and the detective Brad Anderson are closing in on him. Whenever I think of Anderson, I think of Mr. Anderson. And this is a very interesting title. It's going to question everybody's morals, as me and producer Stefan Nielsen discussed the first issue when it came out. It's like, I feel like he's just a bad guy. He's not, even though he's doing good to steal money to, pay for his mom's care and to make people turn themselves in for the other horrible crimes they did. I don't know. It's a little iffy on the moral situation there. Exactly. Nathan Duncan nailed it. Not so innocent. I agree. And now for our #3 coming out for tomorrow's new comic book day, we have Astronaut Down issue 3. This comes from writer James Patrick, who we've worked on several titles before, including Kaiju Score Volume 1 and 2, which is still in the works for being a Sony motion picture. Very excited about that. And artist Rubine, who we also worked with on Searching for Hugh. And now astronaut Douglas Spitzer has just been sent a devastating message from Mission Control. He now knows that his actions alone will determine the fate of his world, but a deep-rooted secret is about to surface and not only jeopardize the mission's success, but also put Maddie Spitzer of this new world into terrible danger. And I don't know about you folks, I don't know if I would be able to make the decision that Douglas Spitzer has to make since he finally has his wife back and is in a world where everything's fine and the world has been healed. Would he really want to leave that world, even if that leaves behind his other world? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Oh, and Nathan Duncan, absolutely sweet, creepy art by Rubine. I absolutely love Rubine's technique, and it's a perfect match for this title. Next up, speaking of creepy, we have one of our favorite titles, and it's going to be the volume 2 of it, the trade paperback of Maniac of New York, volume 2, The Bronx is Burning. So this epically fun title with Elliot Kalan as the writer and artist Andrea Muti, who most of you know as the bright, fun Italian who does terrifying artwork with watercolors. And in this issue, he is back for another slice. So after the tragedy of the Death Train, Detective Zelda Pettibone and a mayoral aide, Gina Green, have lost the trail of the maniac and the support of the city. Copycats are springing up, tensions are high, and traffic is a nightmare, as usual for New York City. So what happens when your favorite unstoppable mindless killer resurfaces in a Bronx high school? Can Zelda and Gina get there before Maniac Harry adds to his body count? And will the students tear their attention away from their phones long enough to notice there's a monster in the halls? Dun, dun, dun. And Nathan Duncan says, the Mutiverse, let's make it happen. Absolutely. So for any of you that have been following both Buddy Mask and Maniac of New York, you might have noticed that Andrea has been sneaking in parts from each book into the other. So you might notice that there's some Maniac Harry masks within Buddy Mask, and there's a few Bunny masks within the series of Maniac of New York. So it's really, really fun. Forest Bates, I agree. Yes, Maniac. We might have an announcement soon about some more Maniac. I'm just going to put that out there. Make sure you follow us for more on that. Oh yeah, don't sleep. It helps. Absolutely, Nathan, I agree. And yes, Maniac Harry and Sally meet in New York in this terrifying time. So those are all the books that are going to be out for this coming new comic book day tomorrow on August 10th. But on Thursday, make sure you tune in because we're doing another conversation. So join me this Thursday, August 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, while I chat with the creator of Hell is a Squared Circle, which is going to be a brand new one-shot that's going to be coming out at the end of September with writer Chris Codon himself. So it's a very fun mixed title of some supernatural with some wrestling, because we all know how much like the wrestling and comic book world have been coming together more and more. So it's very fun. Forest Base says, I'm following. Yes, you should, because there's going to be so many awesome announcements coming out for what's coming up this winter time at AfterShock. And we have some awesome titles that are fast approaching and will be FOCing on this coming Monday. So you want to make sure while you're at your local comic book shop tomorrow to add these to your pull list. We have a brand new #1 called Last Line, and this is going to be in shop September 7th. This comes from writer Richard Dinnick and artist Jose Holder. And this is off map, off track, and off world. So this is a very fun kind of, I want to say, Doctor Who-ish. He wrote for Doctor Who, by the way. A very Doctor Who-ish title that's a fun sci-fi where all of the underground railways and all that actually lead to different dimensions. It's going to be a very fun title. So again, the order deadline is this Monday on August 15th. So whether you show up to your local comic book shop tomorrow to pick up your new comic books or all the way through the weekend, make sure you add that title as well as issue 2 of The Vineyard. So hopefully you all picked it up last week of this very wine-tastic horror that just came into shops last week with writer Brian Hawkins and artist Sammy Chiavella. And this is the wine to die for. We've had a lot of fun. It seems like a lot of consumers who read this book were really into it. So I suggest if you haven't picked up issue 1, pick it up this week and then add that to your pull list, because again, that is going to be an order deadline of August 15th this Monday and will be in shops on September 7th. Nathan, yes, I'm being very subtle with my punneries today. And in case you missed it, we had a brand new announcement for yet another title. We're just unstoppable here at AfterShock with more and more new titles. We have Fear of a Red Planet. So this is based on Mars. 50 years from now, humanity's first Martian colony is no longer self-sustaining. Under the thumb of its corporate mining overlords, the surviving colonists slave away just to pay for resupply rockets from Earth, with little or no hope of returning home. One woman has kept a fragile peace, the UN's first and only interplanetary marshal. a lawwoman escaping a violent past on Earth, she provides herself on having fired a shot on Mars. But when she's tasked with solving the murder of the colony's most hated man, her investigation threatens to tear the red planet apart. So this comes from writer Mark Sable, who we've absolutely adored working with. We worked with him on Miskatonic, both the series and the one shot, Where Starships Go to Die, which is the continuing title, and God Killers, War on Terror. So we're having a lot of fun bringing him back, as well as Andrea Olimpieri, which is actually our first time working with them, and you might know them from Dishonored, Dark Souls, many others. And this will be lettered by Dave Sharp and covers by Paul Ascateta. Plus, the first issue in Ascent cover is by wonderful friend Jeremy Hahn. Fear of the Red Planet is a near future Western with the hard sci-fi of The Expanse and the hard-boiled gunslinging of Justified. And this will be coming out in November, so make sure to keep that in mind when you're looking for new titles to add to your pull list. And I just Public Enemy, Anyone. Yes, kind of very similar style to that as well. And as always, folks, thank you so much for joining the EpiCenter here. We have so much more content coming your way, so make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that fun stuff. We'll be traveling a lot more. We'll hopefully see some of you at Emerald City Comic Con in another week and a half, and then we'll be there at New York Comic Con as well as Baltimore Comic Con. So make sure to stay safe out there, folks. Wash your hands, wear your mask, keep your distance, and only read dangerously. We'll see you all next week.